It's been a while since I've done a kit stash update. Let me show you where I'm at. This has been on my watch list ever since it was announced. Back in the day, I couldn't really justify spending $60+ on a model kit. Now, just like every other Aoshima kit I've ever built, there is 40 pounds of plastic in this box. It is nowhere near as detailed as the Pagani Huayra, but it might as well be. The part counts are similar. As I was saying earlier, $60 is still a lot for a model kit, but I was able to pick this up, have it shipped to my door with that detail kit for about $45. Next up is another reissue that I've had my eye on for a while, and with aftermarket parts still readily available, I figured I might as well pick it up while I got the chance. Now, being a Revell Germany kit, it opens with this little flap. I'm not going to drag everything out because it will be next to impossible to stuff it all back in there. These headlight buckets, though, I will point out specifically. Now, the detail kit, I've heard a lot of horror stories. I'm kind of scared. Might not even do it. I just might throw it all in the trash. We'll see. Those headlight buckets, you cut off the original piece and glue them onto this. Why oh why they didn't just cast it all as one piece, I will never know. So, yeah, we'll look more into that when it comes time to build this kit. Up next we have kind of another watch list item. I say kind of, because technically this is still the Ram VTS kit. It's just not the Ram VTS kit. I don't remember this oil cooler being on the VTS kit. Weird. So what makes this so special is this little 1/32 Hot Wheel. Never mind, it's 1/64. I don't really have a need for that little bitty toy, but outside of that, it's all a second gen Ram, and you know how I feel about them. As I was saying earlier, the main difference between this and the VTS kit is the decals. If one were so inclined, they could just mask off and paint their own stripes, and nobody would know the difference. Now, being that this is a used kit, it comes with some of the used kit downfalls. Namely, here's the glass. It's in very good shape, and it's all here. In fact, the headlight lens I saw earlier, it's right... yeah, there it is. So at the moment, I'm not really sure what direction I want to go with this. Either stock VTS build or something a little bit more wild. Anyway, I have a bit of time to think about it, so stay tuned for this build. It will be a good one. Now, I do realize that Revell has reissued and improved greatly upon this kit. That still didn't stop me when I saw this pop up on Wes's website. I was planning on getting a reissue, but I saw Justin over at J Hart Model Works, his review of the reissue. Now, I will be building that kit vicariously through him, because from what I've seen, it is not a good kit. Nothing seems to fit. But as you can see here, it's got all this 60s bling that everything that be chromed was chromed on these old cars. Now a lot of that I won't be using because I plan to do the speedster version of this car where they just shaved everything off to save as much weight as possible. I'm not seeing any decals in this kit, which is weird because I just cut the plastic and I wrapped it off right before the video. It may not even come with decals. If anyone knows, let me know. Am I missing something here? Now, I did mention Wes earlier, so I gotta do a little shameless plug for him here. He could track down almost any new kit you could think of, and he buys up the old estate sales and just randomly has some nostalgic and hard to find kits on his website. This was one of them. Now I am no stranger to this kit. I built one quite a while ago, and somehow during the move, my entire box of 30-40 build model kits, it just went up missing. So I'm going to start something new. I'm going to call it a legacy build. So basically, what I'm going to do is just start replacing all those kits that were lost. Being that I built this kit before, there were a few things I do want to improve on, namely the front spoiler lip air dam thing. It is almost flush with the body, and on the real car this thing sticks out maybe 6 inches. It just looks a whole lot more aggressive. Now being that I've also built it, I know what to look out for. Namely, the thing that plagues almost every Revell kit, and that is the ride height. This kit, and some of Fujimi kits, for whatever reason, they use those stupid metal axles, which makes lowering them kind of a chore. Now looking at this fender gap here between the fender and the tire, that comes out to something like 4 scale inches. That is not going to fare well for a race car, and I do intend to fix that this time around. So this is also a legacy build. The Lotus Esprit is one of my favorite cars. Now this is another used kit that I got a very good deal on because the engine had been started and it doesn't have any decals. Now, not having any decals is kind of okay, not a huge problem, because really the only one I need is just for that Lotus emblem. I think they intended to do a Sport 350 kit at one time, because that decal takes up the entire door, just like on the Sport 350. Now in this car, the Sport 300, that decal is supposed to be no bigger than just a normal fender emblem. Now aside from the engine just being started, the dude also has started to glue on some of the body pieces. He didn't do a good job, but he started on it. And it's all going to be a very easy fix, so I'm not too worried. Now the engine, this is as far as he's got. He's basically just glued the 2 block halves together and threw the oil pan on it. Now aside from that, I went through every sprue. Every piece is there out and counted for, so other than the decals, this is a complete kit. Now I do have to mention Justin from J Hart Model Works again. In his intro, he shows this kit being fully built. So if I ever meet him, I would love to shake his hand, because I know that he is a very patient man, because this kit is a terrible kit. It is trash. It has some of the worst fitment issues that I have ever dealt with. And just like the Revell kits, the ride height is a major concern. If one were to scale it out, the bottom of the rocker panel is about 2 feet off the ground. I'm going to fix that, and I'll show you how when it comes time to build it. And yes, my cutting mat is gone, aside from the paint booth, my model stash, and for whatever reason, this G3 trigger pack, Everything has been packed up, and it is right here. I really do not want to go through another very hot Kansas summer or a very cold Kansas winter in this garage. So I will be setting up in a basement. Finally, after years saying it, I will be doing it. So hopefully by this time next week, I'll be doing an unboxing and starting a new build.